be very, very quiet. I'm shooting 300 Blackout today. A lot of people have been asking for 300 Blackout videos, so we got a real cool one to show you here. All right, we're gonna lob a few in, Chad. What do you think?
Send them.
300 yards with a 220 grain subsonic. Let's see if we can connect.
All right, elevation's good. You're right above the 8-inch popper. Just a little high. There you go. Send it. Just low. Just low.
That is absolutely a trip, no matter how you run it, man. We were playing around a little bit earlier with this really cool 180. This is one of the new Brownells BRN-180 retro uppers, as well as their lower, but this is the new Gen 2 300 Blackout. Really, really cool piece of hardware. I have never really been that much of a 300 Blackout kind of guy. Chad became sort of a convert and fan of the cartridge a little bit earlier on. As he tends to do a lot, you know, this whole 6mm AR thing has really taken off and done some crazy stuff. When you see the new Sammy Spec 6mm out now in the short action. But the 300 Blackout is cool. Those were subs. One of the interesting things about 300 Blackout as a cartridge is that it's really, really optimized for subs and supers. In the longer barrel lengths, you can get some really great power out of the supers, but the subs and supers, in terms of where that meeting point is, really, I feel like a 10-inch pistol is about the perfect barrel length for a 300 Blackout, 8 to 10 inches. You still get reasonably good velocity. We're shooting 150 grain supers as well. Now those subs, we're having to aim like way over the gong at 3. I just thought it'd be cool to lob some of those in the intro. The Gen 2 BRN-180 upper has an adjustable gas system. You remember the Gen 1 versions, slightly earlier ones have an interchangeable puck system for the piston that you have to change out to go between sub and super. This one has an adjustable gas system. 5/8 by 24 thread pitch. This is a OSS HXQD 338 Lapua suppressor that is on this gun, or 338 bore suppressor that is on this gun. You got plenty of pick rail throughout, M-lock accessory slots through and throughout. And of course, because of using the Brownells lower as well, we can actually put a folding brace on this. Because of the way that the 180 upper is designed, all of your recoil spring assembly and everything is in the upper. You don't have to use a buffer tube. So it allows you to run a flat pick rail on the back and then run your braces and stuff. So that makes this a very handy truck gun. If you were to not run this suppressed and just leave it loud, it's a very short package. Of course, you know, it'd be very, very short, especially folded. We're running a Trigicon reflex sight. This is a rather large sight, and it also, you know, just physically large, but also the reticle, the dot inside the reticle is just a really large dot. Really more for like shotgun use, I think, is where this optic really shines. But for this particular application, I thought it'd be fun to try out. And although the dot is rather large, you can still make some pretty decent shots out to longer distances. I'm gonna load this up with some supers this time. Okay, and we've just got some 20 round mags to make life a little bit easier. These are Freedom Munitions 150 grain supers. Okay, these are gonna be a little bit louder. The charging handle on the 180, it does reciprocate. And if you guys are not familiar with the AR-18, yeah, you know, you think AR-15, there's 3 more ARs, right? Makes AR-18, 180, right? 180, AR-18, what have you. It's definitely a different type of setup. You know, it is a piston system, so you get away from direct gas impingement. So with the supers, it can be a tiny bit pitchy, but not too bad. On the subs, for a piston gun, very quiet with subs. A direct gas impingement gun is probably gonna be a little quieter because of that dwell time, and those gases as they're going through the gas system are probably cooling a little more, and you're not, you know, you can really set up a DI gun to be suppressed exactly right by playing around with the buffer weights and playing around with, you know, different bolts and things like that. You know, they got gas busting charging handles that can help keep the gas out of your face. This gun does suppress well with supers and with subs, especially for a piston gun. All right, so I'm gonna load it up with some supers. And the metal mags kind of keep it retro, right? Because it is a kind of, you know, retro design. And why this particular gun design didn't take off and do better is beyond me. You know, they were used in some limited numbers, you know, in various militaries all around the world and everything like that. But it really is an interesting design, and it's a shame that, you know, that it wasn't more popular. But it's cool on Brownell's part that a lot of these obscure actions and obscure operating systems, they're taking some of these retro components and they're turning it into something that can still help a modern shooter. So you scratch that retro itch, but with the modern functionality of a modern platform, which is really cool, you know? So I'll tell you, one of my first rifles that I ever owned, and it was so cool, I wish I still had it, and I wish I knew the serial number so I could try to track it down and find out who has it. But my first rifle similar to this that I ever had, that I bought with my own money, was an Armalite AR-180B. And if you guys are not familiar with that model, it is the kind of simplified version of the AR-18. So it shares a lot of the components of the 18, of the 180, but it's a little bit different. It's got a simplified charging handle, unlike the old school Sterlings that have, like, you know, this style of charging handle. The bolt mechanism, everything is drastically different on the 180B. It was like an economy version of the gun that they were making to appeal to, you know, a wider variety of shooters. And of course, it has like all the Clinton band features. So like, you know, no threaded barrel, fixed stock. I mean, all of these kind of dumbed down features. But however, despite that, they are a light and handy rifle, and they're really, really, really fun to shoot. I wish I still had it. This is the closest thing I'm gonna have to it. On this upper, they do them in 5.56, 300 Blackout, and you can get them in a 16 and the intermediate lengths such as this. 5.56 probably would have been my first choice. However, I'm glad we did the 300 Blackout. I wish that the ammunition availability was a little bit better, but we're gonna go ahead and launch a few supers, and we've got a few more subs. Let you hear how quiet this guy can be. All right, so these are gonna be a little bit louder. All right, and they're also gonna hit with some more authority downrange. So let's have a little fun here.
You're going for 100?
Yeah.
You're right over the top of the head. Right in the head. There you go.
It's shooting a little high for us.
Yeah, you're right on the bolt at 100. Center mass.
250.
Center mass.
3.
Go. Just high over the top. 11 o'clock. There you go.
Wow, that 150 hits with a lot of authority. I actually did not wind up bringing them with me, but I do have some of the 150 grain Wolf Supersonic 300 Blackout, the steel case stuff. We did test fire quite a bit of that ammunition through this rig, and it ran great. There was a miscommunication on my part, and I forgot to bring that ammo with me for the video, but it does run really nice. That was 150 grain Freedom Munitions full power. We got a few 220 grain subs. Let's play around with those a little bit. It's a really cool setup, and I feel like Brownells has done a really, really great job of bringing this platform kind of into the modern age a bit, adding the adjustable gas system, you know, properly threaded barrel like we expect, M-LOK accessory rails. So there's a bit of that nod to the old, but with a bit of a nod to the new as well, and bring it into the modern world. So, you know, you do have a dust cover. right there. That's kind of neat. And the charging handle does reciprocate, of course. It's all, you know, attached, but really cool setup. You do have a manual bolt lock on the side of the receiver, just like you would expect on a standard AR-15, no problem to lock the bolt to the rear. And then your ergonomics and everything on the lower, exactly like any other AR-15. So the safety's in the same location, trigger, magazine release, etc., takedown pins. Pretty much everything's the same, except for obviously the upper being the special component. So I'm gonna launch a few more subs. This was just meant to be kind of a quick look at this particular gun. It's a really, really cool setup. This would be a wonderful hog hunting pistol. And this is a great option for somebody that wants to travel over state lines, and say that you have your favorite short-barreled rifle and you don't have to put in a form and mess with all this crap to take something over state lines. So the pistols are great because you can, it's a pistol. So you just travel with it like you would any other pistol, and you don't have to worry about the NFA stuff, which is really handy. I have my reservations about how this gun would sound with that 338 bore can on it. But those OSS cans, they've been doing a really great job. Like, they have lots of volume, and these cans in general, the Helix, you know, series cans, like, you know, we did the original video on the Helix, they are really good on semi-automatics. So just keep that in mind, that the OSSs, they've got some really cool technology built into them. And without even asking Chad, I'm assuming that's why we ran this can. Just, you know, we're gonna really try to, you know, now pay attention to the way these gases look. I noticed when I was shooting the 150s, no gas in the face, really nice. So let's just see how this, you know, how this guy handles gas. And these are 220 grain subs. I'm not gonna wear Ear Pro for this. Just gonna go for it.
You gonna start at 50?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Just over the shoulder on the right side. There you go. Yeah, lower part of the plate. You're about a foot under the center at 250. There you go. 6 inches low. Still a little bit low. A little bit low. There we go. You gotta aim up there in the grass.
Yeah, I gotta aim up in the grassy knoll, as they say. Very quiet. A little bit of gas back in my face, not too bad. Really good looking ejection. You know, 100%. The way that this gun is dialed in right now, working really nice with subs and supers. That gas does have to be turned up a good bit to get it to cycle with the subs. You would think that by having that gas turned up to cycle subs, that the supers would be really gassy, and they really weren't that bad. We're getting a bit of gas from the subs, but not too bad. I'm very impressed with this setup. We will be doing more work with this. I'm hoping to, I think I want to probably try to take a deer with a 300 Blackout. Now, Chad has shot, I know, at least 2 deer with a 300 Blackout with the 110 grain Barnes triple shock load. Now, that 110 Barnes bullet is one awesome bullet. It really is great. And in the 300 Blackout, man, it is hard to beat the Barnes bullets in a 300 Blackout with a good solid super load. So maybe that's something we'll try to replicate. I'll try to load up some TSXs, and we'll definitely see what that's all about. I'd like to see the terminal performance of this gun in a 10-inch with the super, and I've got just the ticket for that. So stay tuned. I think we'll probably try to film a hunting video with this particular rig right here. So have a great day, guys. We really appreciate the support. Those of you who support us on Patreon, thank you so very much for the support. Those of you who purchase man cans over on the website, t-shirts over on Ballistic Ink, thank you so much for the support and seeing value in what we do. Have a great day. We'll see you guys next time. Keep it retro. We'll see you soon.